We're live!
Oh, we're live! Hey, how's it going, everybody? Out in the digital ether, Noah Mitchell with my comrade, Casey, the benevolent Brennan.
Ooh.
Yeah, did you like that? Just
I did.
right off the top of the old dome, right there. Nothing too good for you.
Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Casey and Noah.
Tonight's episode of Coffee with Casey and Noah is brought to you by Movie Club, the third stream on this quad stream Wednesday. Stay tuned at 6 o'clock for the San Diego Beach Con virtual convention preview night.
Woo!
I'll be there. Casey will be there. Everybody else will be there. Oh, wow. Well, look at that. We're already advertising. What do you know? I hope you watched the movie Aliens, directed by our dear friend, my personal friend and mentor, Mr. James Cameron. We go way back, class of 2014. And I think we're going to talk about it today. We got some really cool people in the crowd. Should we bring them on, or do you want to say something?
I think we should bring them on.
You sure? Now's your time, because you're not going to be able to say something else if you got something to say now.
Nope.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for everybody's favorite time of the time. Movie time.
Woo!
Let's bring on our guest. Who do you want to bring on?
Let's bring on our special guest who's not here usually, Pat Shan.
Pat Shan!
Woo!
Whoa, dude.
Right? What are you doing here, man?
What am I doing here? I'm back.
Is this your second stream with us today?
I did Lost Boys and I did Fright Night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So a bit of a movie club veteran, if you will.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha. You're the movie club mercenary. You're called in. Yeah,
I like it.
boom. We got more coming at you guys tonight. That's the type of high quality entertainment you can expect.
It's good. It's real good.
All right, bringing on our next guest. You know him, you love him. We just got done talking to him a second ago. Here he is, Brian.
Woo!
What's up? What's up? Movie Club coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm here this weekend for Raleigh SuperCon, so good to be talking to one of you guys. I can't believe I'm talking about one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time.
Yes, I'm excited. And we kind of a little teaser for those who are just joining in. We had a little bit of behind the curtain, behind the scenes, conversation not too long ago, and it does seem like this movie is going to have some conflicting opinions. So I'm very interested to hear the debates. The pressure's rising, man.
We'll
Also,
see.
I have to say, I like the composition of your shot. You got one light over here, one light over here. You're in the middle. Is saying, "What do you want from me?"
That's all I got.
That's all I got. Speaking of all I got, let's bring on a girl who always gives everything that she's got. Ladies and gentlemen, the master herself, Krystle Starr!
Woo!
Hey!
Hello!
Welcome to my messy room.
As long as there's tiki paraphernalia in the background, I'm set.
We're good.
You put it in your camera?
I did.
It looks good.
Thank you. I got the same one Ralph had. I was like, tell me what you have. I will order it. And then actually a fan got it, so bless you guys. Thank you, Twitch.
Oh, thanks, Twitch. If anybody out there in Twitch wants to get me anything, I've had my eye on Atomic Purple Game Boy Color for quite some time now.
Hey,
Thanks,
Sir John.
Twitch, in advance.
And happy early birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank you, Sir John. Yeah, it's next week, so.
Sagittarius.
No.
Dang it. One of those. I had a 1 out of 12 shot. Right? 12?
Yep. There's
Nice. All right. Speaking of 12, let's bring on Ralph Tedesco. Hi, Ralph.
Here he is.
Yes.
I don't know how to feel about this setup.
What's wrong with the setup? Hey, guys.
We're too small.
It looks so
Yeah.
I
blue.
like this.
Oh.
I like
There
this.
you go.
There you go.
Yeah, me and Krystle now have the same camera.
Yay!
Exciting.
I love it.
Do we need to get the same camera to match?
Might as
They all
well.
look good. The camera
Jesus.
I had was like so terrible. I was always like the blurriest one on stream. So.
Well, now that you keep saying about this camera, what brand, what kind? Come on, the viewers want to know because eventually you're going to have
It's
to
nothing.
Logitech.
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 My old one was a Logitech too. It was just apparently really old. So
It's the new one. The new one. The new Logitech. Very high tech, guys.
fancy.
Neo Logitech.
Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, I don't know what I'd do without you. We're blessed to have you.
I'm a little worried because I've heard some people saying that they didn't like this film, so I'm concerned. But we'll get to it. Let's get into it. I'm ready.
The nitty gritty.
I'm ready. Buffy's ready.
Oh wow, dude! Very cute.
Completely derailed.
We're all ready.
Very
Buffy.
I know we have to subscribe.
We're all ready to talk aliens.
I like it. I like it.
All right, so who watched this movie for the first time in their viewing?
Just kidding.
All
I was
right.
like, wow, Ralph, how did you get around not?
No.
I'm going to throw a halvesy in there because the last time I watched this movie, it was on TNT. So, and that was a couple years ago. So commercials.
Is that Turner
And,
Classic?
like-
Wait, no, TNT. I was thinking of Turner Classic Movies, TMC.
I saw this movie many a time, but I haven't seen it in many years. I haven't watched it again. Sort of like The Crow, sort of like a lot of our past movie clubs. I just hadn't seen them for a long time.
Yeah.
So watching this now,
Why?
as
Did
an
you not
adult,
care? Did you not care to watch it?
I don't know. I saw it so much as a kid because it was constantly on whatever the hell, whatever was HBO, whatever they had, Prism. What did they have back then? It was on constantly looping, and we were watching it as kids. Remember
3
Prism?
channels.
Ryan, you
UHF.
remember Prism?
I've never heard
I
of
don't
it.
know. That's the. Isn't that where the
Prism
Flyers
was like
used
a
to play?
cable channel early on back in the day.
Nice.
But
Okay, so
anyway.
Casey, this was your first time watching it,
Yes.
and you did not like it.
No.
I love that.
Can you preface? I just give them a little background though. Like you were watching it
I watched it last night.
after a 6-day convention.
How Buffy you are.
I was not feeling great in general, and I fell asleep a few times, and I woke up and I feel like I didn't miss anything because they were still shooting aliens. And that's I'm sorry. It was it was very visually pleasing. I'm a big fan of Sigourney Weaver. I am. She's great. Everyone was great, but I don't know. I watched this movie. My ex made me watch this movie about space, and I fell asleep in the theaters. And I woke up, and they were just still in space, and that's how I felt.
That's normally how space works.
Okay. Truth be told, it was a Star Wars movie that they just so happens that it always is in space. Just so you know.
Very odd take, but. So where should we begin?
Yeah, do we want to do it structured, Noah? Do we want to have it structured this time, or do we want to do free for all? Let's shoot at the wall and see what sticks.
I you know what? I would say structure, but I don't have a flow chart like I did with The Crow. So I'm totally game for, much like the chaos of space, let's allow ourselves to get into the anarchy. I don't know, whatever. Let's just talk about aliens. It was a fantastic movie. I loved it.
This is another James Cameron film that we think we did Terminator, and is that the only other
Way
Cameron
better,
movie?
in my personal opinion.
So you can see why, in my opinion, James Cameron is the king of the 80s.
And just blockbusters in general,
especially
because
the 90s with
he
True
had
Love.
Titanic and Avatar were both at like the highest grossing movies for the longest time.
Anyone who badmouths the Aliens movie is dead to me. Oh no, Trent! I think Kate and I.
I'm dead too, then, dude.
You're
Well,
dead.
Well, listen, first of all,
Oh my god,
I mean,
Pat, tell us your experience with Aliens. How old were you the first time you watched it, and then tell us how you felt when you rewatched it.
It was a film that was kind of on TV and around the same as Ralph growing up. But I watched it as a dedicated watch. I watched Alien and Aliens with my dad when I was in my early 20s. So this was my second time doing a full watch, and it seems like to me there are great parts of it. The creature design, incredible. Just the design in general, the goo, the pods, the way the egg opens, absolutely incredible. The acting is dog shit. The pacing,
Really?
horrendous. Yeah. It feels like one of those ones that is more nostalgia than actually still good. Like
The acting was dog shit.
yeah, Sigourney Weaver feels like she's reading off right off screen. You know, every line.
Sigourney Weaver was up for a best actor.
Well, it's not to my taste, dude. You know, it played as if she was reading a cue card right off screen for every single line. Completely dead acting. Who acted very well actually was Newt. She was effective in that role. I thought that before she even spoke, you could see the trauma that she went through. So it wasn't all horrible, but I'd say that the parts of it that were impressive were very impressive. But it's one I would never watch again for sure.
Wow. As someone who's the king of horrible acting, I got to tell you, he's not in your club whatsoever.
No, dude.
The acting, I don't see her at the meetings anyway. So, to be honest with you, you're talking about a movie that's being taken over from, Ridley Scott, who directed the original, with those hack of actors that they had on that movie. And so to come to this and have like a Giger design and the special effects of some of the greats in Hollywood come in and do this and then take over. And Cameron came in and brought his crews of people that he had done Terminator movies with, and to the fact that they were able to bring Sigourney back and add his cast of actors that he always likes working with to this science fiction classic was amazing. And the pacing of it, the adding of more comedy to it, there was definitely a lot more comedy aspects to the crew, bringing all these great diverse casts to this world. The science behind it actually was very legit in a lot of cases. And it was intriguing in that sense. If you're a space geek nerd, I thought it was right on point. And it blended the elements of comedy, horror, and science fiction, I think, in a great space. When the first pitch of the Alien movie, the original Alien movie, was very, very intense. You barely got to actually see the alien until towards the end. And this was like, now remember that tense feeling, and you saw the alien, like, oh my God, now we're going to give you 500 of them, and you're all going to be trapped inside this giant kind of industrial complex, and we're going to hunt you down. He's like, wait a minute, hunting down someone in an industrial complex? I've done a movie like that before called Terminator. So he decided to take what his experience was with Terminator, making that intensity, and we have it here. As far as the everybody had shit acting kind of comment, I can't help you on that one.
Yeah, she was actually the first female to be nominated for like an action scene, like an action movie for her acting, which is kind of cool. I thought she did amazing acting. I will say, I could have probably cut 30 minutes out of this movie and made it a 2-hour movie instead of a 2 hour and like 30, 37. It's a long movie. And I do feel like there's a lot of dead scene for me. So for Casey, like, I think especially like kind of in the younger generation, when we watch movies like this, I think our brains are kind of like TikTok, Instagram, we're too ADD for films that have this much dead space. So I watched it last year with Twitch. That's why I thought we did it on Movie Club. We didn't. We did it on Twitch. And then I had to rewatch it today, and I actually skimmed through a lot of it today. And you're right, Casey, you can skip 5 to 10 minutes at a time and not miss a lot of the movie. And Feather just like fell right.
It is, well, it's action heavy. Definitely action.
Yeah, I would say
I think it is slow paced. It's very slow paced.
So it was interesting. One, never watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. If you have difficulty,
favorite films. I that's like a different type of slow pace. Like
what?
Yeah,
I felt like, did you know that the same person that edited 2001 edited this?
So
I believe that. I do believe that I can see.
And I felt like the first Alien movie was very much like it with 2001, how it really kind of takes its time and it's cold and it's dead and it's quiet. I felt like there was a lot of that in the first Alien movie, not so much in this one.
The first Alien movie was a lot slower. No, I haven't seen that.
I rewatched that one. I haven't seen that one in a long time.
I thought for both of them, me personally, it didn't feel like, you said it was 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't. Over. I don't know. It didn't feel that long to me. I thought that, I don't know.
So the director's cut of Aliens 2, this one, was 2 hours and 34 minutes, and the regular version was 2 hours and 17.
Gotcha.
Right. I rewatched the director's cut.
Is the director's cut? Does her daughter live in the director's cut? No.
In the director's cut, there is mention of her daughter. I don't think, did we get mention of her daughter in the theatrical release?
No.
Okay, so I watched the director's cut for sure.
Oh.
Her daughter.
So wait, Brian, what did you just watch?
What did I watch?
Did you watch the
the original theatrical release?
So I didn't remember. See, when they talk about her daughter in the first act and like her daughter having died because she was 60 whatever years old.
60.
When I watched it this time, I didn't remember that at all, and I was like, "Oh, her daughter died. Like, that's weird. I don't remember this."
Yeah, I mean, it's a fact. That's a throwaway fact that they didn't need, so that's why it was cut out to begin with.
Yeah, because you still get the like adopted mother kind, like you still have a maternal instinct that she develops with Newt.
Well, it does make it more. It did make it more like, oh, now I see why she's so like worried about Newt and like making sure like it ties that storyline in a little bit.
Yeah,
more. She missed out on her daughter's life
every time.
It reminded me of Inception.
That's why it's really slow, because we have an extra like 15-20 minutes of slowness.
Also, Paul Reiser. I just watched Stranger Things, and then seeing a young Paul Reiser was very odd.
Yeah.
He does a great job on The Boys.
I love Paul Reiser.
I fucking love The Boys. Holy shit. And I just finished Stranger Things. Well, I've got like 44 minutes left on the last episode because it's like very long.
It's 4 hours.
They used a Conan sword. I was like, what?
Yeah, oh, by the way, Sun is. Did you guys mention Sun is out today? She has a back injury, so she can't join us. I forgot to mention that. Sun won't join it. Wish her well to get better soon. Because she hurt her back, but she'll be back. She'll be back.
I heard she breaks her back for this company all the time, and with no thanks.
No respect.
We tie her up and we go back or no back. You're doing the cover.
But what I heard, she'll be back.
She will be back. Sorry to cut you guys off. I just wanted to mention we forgot to say.
We did mention that Marilyn is in the air flying.
Marilyn's in the air, but she did send us a video. Paul Reiser, awesome. I feel like Pat, you did not enjoy Paul Reiser either.
I only know him as the old guy from Stranger Things. So I can't picture who he was in this movie.
Brian's dying.
No, I get it. Listen, I'm an old fuck, so I get it. Yeah, I mean, what is it? Not Married with Children. He had a TV show on NBC. Huge hit.
With Helen Hunt, right? Mad About You?
No, Helen. Not Helen. Yeah, Helen Hunt. You're right.
Mad About You.
Mad About You. That's it. But he's also a stand-up comic. I mean, he started in stand-up comedy before he even went into acting and stuff like that. So, and he's a producer in The Boys. If you see the show The Boys, he does a great job in that as well.
Yeah. He does.
So let's talk very quickly. We have some other movies that we've watched this year that kind of have connections with aliens. Starship Troopers, which we watched, is based off of the book, is one of like these staples of science fiction, one of the first appearances of Space Marines. And according to IMDb, James Cameron had his crew read Starship Troopers prior to the filming. And it's interesting to see because in Starship Troopers, the book, they talk a lot about like the exoskeletons and stuff. And you have that in the movie. You have the Space Marines, the Bug Hunt. And then the second movie we watched that has a connection to this is Species, because Giger did the design and stuff for the alien on that too. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I really like how this kind of these threads. You can say it's intentional, even if it wasn't.
It is interesting.
That's not what I thought you were going to say at all. I thought you were going to bring up Resident Evil, which is clearly
Please don't.
trying
Please
to
don't.
be aliens.
Please don't.
You think
Please
Resident?
don't.
I don't think it's trash. Resident Evil's trash.
Well, I actually said to Noah earlier today, I said, if now having watched Aliens, I would go back and give Resident Evil a lower score.
Well, I would hope so. Can we talk about the Marines a second? I feel like Bill Paxton?
Yep.
The late great Bill Paxton, loved him.
He
Even though
totally
he did whine a lot in the movie as a character. Was that Krystle?
Hudson reminds me of you a lot in this movie. I don't know why, but like,
Me?
yeah, I kept like thinking of you when he would like say stupid shit. I'd be like, Ralph.
He would say stupid shit and it's Ralph. That's a great compliment.
Oh boy.
I am
I
like,
have that in my notes. Hudson reminds me of Ralph.
I guess I'm scared a lot of being killed by aliens. Because he was freaked out the entire film.
Yeah.
Speaking
What
of
did you
Bill,
put her in charge, man?
I love that. I love that line.
I like the line where he goes, did anybody ever accuse you of being a man? And she's like, has anybody ever accused you of being a
man? And it's so funny because I had such a crush on Vasquez growing up. She was like one of my first like female crushes. And then later I learned that she's not Hispanic at all. Like,
Oh no?
No.
Oh, weird.
Super tanned her and made her say very Hispanic lines.
I think pendejo.
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird because you remind me of Vasquez. I wrote that down.
Oh, love that. I will take that. I would love. Yeah, she's so fit in this movie. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Love Paxton. Loved Bean. What's his first name?
Bishop.
Mr.
Bean.
Yeah.
The guy from Terminator. Help me out.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, he played Brian. You know what I'm talking about?
The black guy, right? No.
No, he played John Connor. Not John Connor. He played the guy who saved Michael Bean. That's his
Michael Bean. Yeah.
Love him. He should have been.
All the characters are a lot of fun. I mean, the sergeant was great, and
Sergeant was great.
Ross, and all of them. It's funny. Like,
I hate it.
You don't learn much about certain characters, and they're the first to go. Spoiler alert. But when you see them, especially when they're all their first attempt of they get into the facility, and you're seeing all their cameras going, and you're seeing the feed that's coming through, and their heart monitors and all that stuff, and you're getting to learn that they're bouncing back and forth all their commands, and they're shouting and stuff. You got to enjoy. They all had independent personalities that I thought were pretty typical of certain kind of character types.
Yeah, for sure. My question is regards to the android guy. Can't remember anybody's name. Bishop. So from Alien, the first feature, there's an android in that situation, and he's like bad essentially because I think he's programmed though to be bad.
The corporation, which I think is a cool kind of like, I don't know, story. The fact that the corporation is putting the profits ahead of everybody else's lives in both number 1 and number 2. But in number 1, they were like, no, getting this specimen and bringing it back to base, that is more important than any of the crew lives, anything else. So that's why the robot, his whole MO was like, sorry, I have orders to basically.
Right. So it wasn't that he turned himself. It was like his.
Wayland Corp is just terrible.
So like, I felt like Bishop had a lot of like human traits, which was interesting because like they didn't make him seem like a android really.
Well, yeah, I mean, the character explains it in the movie when Ripley freaks out and Bishop's like, what's going on at breakfast? She's freaking out at Bishop. And then Paul Reiser's character explains, oh, their android had an issue, and then it's a different model decades ago. He's like, oh, yeah, we can never harm a human now, but someone who's in hibernation, it doesn't matter.
I love how he says that, yet he just, like, cut himself, you know, like, and he had his hand on top of the human's hand, which he could have easily cut both of them.
Well, I thought it was funny because, like, there was the only reason they had him cut himself was to show that he was an android, so Sigourney Weaver could react and the audience would know. Because what other reason was there that he missed and cut himself? Didn't really.
But yeah, the fact that he was like, you know, it's impossible for me to hurt a human, but it literally just showed that he was capable of making mistakes. So that was like a
right. Why did he made mistakes?
Yeah.
That fun. Still fun scene, still good scene. I still dig it. So does anybody have a favorite character aside from Sigourney?
Newt is the best. Newt
stole the show.
Newt was good. Newt was a good actress.
She is. Yeah, she is. I thought that, you know, it was Bishop and Newt who were the only two characters that I cared if they died. So when Bishop was ripped in half, I thought that was pretty shocking and cool. You know, it was but yeah, Newt was the one that you could kind of engage with as a character to fear for. The rest of them I didn't really care about at all. But the performance of Newt was subtle. It was effective. It was good.
Yeah, and the fact that she kept going like into like small areas to hide, like even when Sigourney's like run, like her first instinct is to go into a vent. So like this girl has just survived by like being like a little mouse, being like a little Newt.
Yeah, and you know what,
going in the air and seeing holes.
She did facial acting while the other actors were performing, which no one else seemed to do. There was a scene where Ripley grabs the dude and she accuses him of being the asshole guy, you know, the one who is gonna try to. Yes, she grabs him and slams him, and it's as if he's waiting for his cue to act again. You know, he's waiting for her to finish her action to start acting again, and it's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, it was just stilted and weird to me.
Wow, interesting, Pat.
Go ahead, Casey. Go.
I liked Casey, the doll head.
Yeah,
well, they're pretty relatable.
You like the doll?
Yeah, because her name was Casey. That's it.
You know, I think it's crazy that girl who played Newt never did like anything else. Like this was her movie. This was it. We lost her out.
I was messing around with Casey because she just said she liked Casey the doll head.
I'm sorry.
That was her favorite character. Her and Pat said they had the Casey the doll had the most acting range.
Well, it's funny because I woke up when Newt was abducted, and I saw the doll head fall, and I was like, "Oh no, Casey!" And then I was like, "Oh wait, the girl." Because she went with.
I think if you fall asleep during the movie, your score needs to have like an asterisk next to it.
Yeah,
the movie puts people to sleep, though. You know.
What about?
I don't know.
Choices for. Okay, so. Go ahead, Chris.
Coming from Texas, especially with like our abortion laws and everything, I'm gonna throw it out there. But when Burke tries to impregnate both of the girls to bring back the specimen, I just like that really hit home for me, especially now and after watching The Handmaid's Tale, just like seeing women as like breeding like cows, essentially, like that to me hit way harder rewatching it than it ever has before. I don't know if you guys caught that scene, but he really needed to bring a specimen home because he'd get like millions of dollars for it, and she wasn't going to let him do it. But if he could, get the alien to impregnate either her or the child, Newt, and then put them in, a state of like cryostasis. Is it cryostasis? I'm saying it wrong.
Sure. Freezy box.
Freezy box. There you go. I don't know. I just felt like so like as a woman, I just felt so violated watching that scene. So yeah, I just thought that was super, super crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure that. I mean, that's probably what they wanted you to feel too.
Yeah, he's the slime ball.
Once again, it's the corporation. It's the fear of this boogeyman, the corporation. By any means necessary, we're getting this organism for our weapons division. We don't care who dies, how many dies, and the best way to do it, you do what you got to do, Burke. I mean, the character of Burke obviously he mentions the numbers and how great the corporation is. Like, oh, here's our air processor. Yes, we can colonize a planet and have air. It only takes so many years. Yada yada yada. So he was always about the corporation, and even that meeting in the very beginning where they're reviewing the ship's log and what had happened. They don't take it seriously because they were like, well, we have a whole colony out there, not realizing that they sent a whole colony out there because they kind of knew that there were aliens out there and that they still want to get it no matter what. So the whole corporate world is bad theme runs throughout both Alien movies, if not all the Alien movies. And so it's just a through line that I think is constant with the Alien franchise.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I gotta say that anytime I watch a 80s movie or 90s movie, especially 80s, trying to show the future, it does take me out of it a little bit because it just doesn't it feels dated to a point.
Yeah.
I think this movie did a better job than other movies we've watched so far this year.
Yeah, I don't think that this movie felt dated in the way that the corporations.
No, it didn't. It felt the most
more like dead on. Like they're a bunch of rat fuck son of a bitches.
And this felt more futuristic than some of the others we've watched. And it was only an $18 million budget, which adjusted for inflation, I guess, is around $50 million. But like, that's still not a huge budget feature.
No, but I love the whole like set design and the miniatures and the props. I thought everything worked. As far as like future movies go, I always like movies that are a little less, clean and polished. Like it's a very industrial future, like everything's all analog. It's big, it's clunky. Another IMDb fun fact is the one of the locations was used in the 1989 Batman movie for Axis Chemicals. So like if that just gives you a better illustration of just how like industrial and like mechanical this like world and future is.
It was definitely more practical kind of effects and sets than you would find now today, where if they were to make an Alien movie today, there would be a lot of CGI probably at play here. So, Sigourney would be looking probably at a tennis ball with a stick, as opposed to the giant mother version of the Alien. So it's kudos to the fact that all these artisans came in to build these giant sets and these actual weapons and armor and stuff. And once again, I give hands up, big hand of applaud to all the artists who made this film in general, because I thought, especially for 1986, or they're shooting it at 85, that's a big hill to climb, especially with the success that the original Alien brought to theaters, to take on something that was beloved even in science fiction and horror worlds and hit it again. Where like, why do we even need a sequel? I thought Cameron did a great job with that.
Yeah, and as far as sequels go too, I thought like I would say that, or at least argue that this is one of those sequels that is like
better
on par, if not like comparable. Like people always talk about T1 and T2, or like A New Hope and Empire, or Shrek 1 and Shrek 2. Like the all fantastic examples. Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. You know, like just
Clerks 1 and Clerks 2. You know, I get it. I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yes.
What is the release date on 3 again?
That would be in September. September 13th and 15th is the Fathom events. And the movie is going on tour beginning in September, running all the way until the end of December. You can go to clerks3.movie for all the info.
I'm so excited. That trailer.
Do it.
That's awesome.
Go see Clerks 3.
Kind of going back to the corporation aspect of the film, I think one of my favorite lines was when Sigourney Weaver says, "You don't see them fucking each other over for a goddamn percentage." Like that to me is probably one of the best lines of the entire film. It just hits really, really hard, and it shows how shitty humans really are. Which I think
all these movies do have that running theme. It's like, and Cameron did, Kirk Cameron.
I like it.
We'll talk about Kirk Cameron.
I don't want to talk about Kirk Cameron. His name does not deserve to be mentioned.
He did it with Avatar. You know, it's always the corporation, the big bad corporation trying to do, you know, their will and sacrificing whatever they need to sacrifice, whoever they need to kill in order to make the money, right?
Cyberdyne systems.
Yeah, it's always the same theme.
Skynet.
Skynet. So it is interesting that like it's this Titanic shipping company. I'm just kidding.
This boat's too big to fail.
Yeah. So I did like. Now, did anybody else kind of feel a little bit bad when? So she's in the room with the mother alien, and like she like threatens to kill the eggs, and the mother alien is like, "I'll let you go. We'll make a deal here. You go." She doesn't say this. This is obviously implied. She lets her leave. That'd be cool if she said. She lets her leave, and then Sigourney can't help herself. Ripley can't help herself, and she torches this poor woman's eggs right in front of her.
This poor. They're gonna torch this poor woman.
Okay, Brian, what did I?
No. Remember, as she's walking back, one starts to open. So they technically shot first, so to speak. If this was the
the egg can't help that they're opening. But okay, so that was what convinced her to torch the eggs, was the one open. Okay.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit bad. I'm like, hey, you just made a deal. You made a deal. She's letting you leave. You leave. Get out.
They didn't shake on it. There was no shake. It wasn't a binding deal.
Okay, just checking.
But I will say, talking about eggs and birth and whatnot, one of my favorite scenes is when they are like, they're following the trackers and they're like, oh, look, they must be having a gosh darn town meeting. They're all over here. And then they go in and every single person is just like sewn together into this giant like egg. And the one person's still alive and he's just like, kill me, please.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting.
I feel bad for her. Yeah, that was terrible.
They couldn't get away. There was a lot of. So they did the dream sequence. I don't know if this was in the original or just the director's cut. I think it was both. The dream sequence with Sigourney Weaver has the alien coming out of her chest in the early scene. Then they did it with the real. They actually showed an alien coming out of the chest because, of course, you have to go back to it. And then they did like a third thing where Bishop gets the alien talon through his chest. Basically, we saw 3 chests.
Bursters.
Like it was a little bit of overkill, but there was 3.
I don't know if you know the rules of comedy. Comedy always comes in 3s there, Ralph.
Fair.
If you didn't laugh the first time or the second time, when Bishop got it, you were like,
Bishop got it. I also was amazed
that Bishop, he's half the man he used to be.
That Bishop sure is a cut up.
I was amazed that they opened the thing to suck the alien out, but Sigourney climbed up that ladder like a champ.
Her poor arm.
Yeah.
Even though it was sucking literally everything out, and a huge, strong alien got to
And the half android just like
holding onto her leg, and
Yeah.
she still didn't get sucked, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And Nike released that shoe recently, like within like the last like 3 years, by the way. So if you one of those Nike she had on, probably get them on eBay.
Yeah,
Fun
right?
fact for movie collector.
Fun fact. We did get a lot of Sigourney in underwear as well. We saw her in her wake up in her.
Oh, and fun fact: the director's
little-
cut actually show. Well, I don't know. It's like if you have an edition before the 90s, you can see her pube hair, and if you have an edition after the 90s, it actually was edited out. So today,
yeah, it was.
we got the pube edition on Twitch today. So
Yeah,
I think that's called the 80s. The
Yeah.
80s edition.
yeah, but
I
they
got that edition as well.
They literally
I
with
didn't-
the DVDs. They edit that out.
I didn't see the edited version. I was gonna
James
say.
Cameron.
Right here, it's making a comeback. So they may re-edit it back in.
I've seen so much hair on Instagram. I'm like, y'all need to stop doing that.
I heard it was a merkin though, so it's fine.
Oh, what? What's a merkin? Do we
Never heard
not?
of a merkin. Okay,
No.
we won't go down
Wow.
that path.
Nothing. What's a merkin with
We
you?
won't go down that path today.
All right, I'll Google it later.
It's a toupee for a different part of the body. Anyway, it's real. It's a real thing.
I will write that down for OnlyFans.
On that note, how many merkins should we give this movie? How many? Okay, so wait, let's get Marilyn's take, Casey,
Right.
so we see where Marilyn stands, and then we'll get into the Zenescope chart.
Oh,
Zenescope.
In a primitive way?
oh, we're too far ahead.
There we go.
Oh, Maron.
Good morning, movie club. Okay. I'm going to admit that, well, my
Sorry, dear.
craziness over the last 2 weeks left me no time to actually see the movie.
Mute
No,
yourself for this
actually, I
one, guys.
think maybe about. Well, they're just landing on the planet. But I kind
We're
of
gonna get a first
wasted,
actor review.
half an hour watching the original Alien, thinking that was the one that we were going to be watching, because I was thinking that why would we kind of go on to the second one? But anyway, that's okay though. Both good. But I did want to come on really quickly, even though I didn't see the whole thing, because I do love the Alien series. And I wanted to give my review as far as like my number of aliens, which even before I kind of talk about it, I'm gonna give it 4.5. I'm like torn between 4.5 and 5, just so you know, because I do love them. But what kind of stands out for me, it's like the movies are very iconic in how they have influenced many other films in little ways. Most importantly, you know, the whole popping out of the stomach in recent films that I've kind of watched. But there's just James Cameron had nothing to do with the original, but you can totally see his influence in this one, Aliens, which is only 2 years after he did Terminator. So you can kind of see his fingerprint in there. What else? Gosh, I don't know. But anyway, I do. I almost have to enjoy the second one more so than the first one, but not by a lot. And it's only because it's different. It's like in the first one, you see how, you know, everything is very technically advanced, but in a primitive way. And in Aliens 2, you can see how much they have technically grown as far as how to show that in films. And you know, maybe Cameron James Cameron has something to do with that as well. I don't know, or just the advancement of it's a 7-year difference, I believe. So there's that. But on a whole, I'm just gonna leave it right here because I got a plane to catch to Raleigh, which I'll see you all at soon with the rest of the Clerks and Clerks 3 cast. All right, take it easy, be well, see y'all soon.
Yay!
So Marilyn goes 4.5.
Love.
Well,
4.5. Do you guys want to bring up Zenescope chart?
Please.
dun, dun, dun.
I've been dying to talk about Zenescope.
So these are everyone's individuals.
Okay,
All right, let's see what we got here.
Let's see where we're at. I kind of miss Chris Sampson's string of 5.
That
I've been really hard on some movies lately.
Barbarella got a 5.
Sun's been really hard on a couple movies. Jeez.
I got 3 threes. Oh, Marilyn's got 3 threes.
I've been all over the place.
Crystal's been
He's a mess.
Crystal's the easiest grader by far.
What would that? I still love the Barbarella middle finger. He's still got that loud and proud.
Still don't understand that, but that's fine. We'll never understand Barbarella's.
All right, all right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
That's the average score.
Average score.
Still has the lowest. Y'all suck so bad.
Total Recall. Wait, so Total Recall is a 4? Is that what it was? The highest score so far?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's see where Alien sits with Total Recall. Curious to see.
Are you guys ready? You guys ready to roll? Rate?
Oh, yeah.
Ratings?
I feel like it's not gonna be.
Pat, let's start with you since you were so.
Okay. There are a few elements that save the movie. The creature design, incredible. The set design, incredible. But I do feel that it is mostly nostalgia. And not being a huge sci-fi fan, there wasn't that much for me here. I'm going to say it is strong 2.5.
Strong 2.5 for Aliens. A classic. Okay.
2.5 Merkins.
That's a very average score. Very average score.
Yeah. I mean, if it didn't have the elements of incredible creature design.
You would like to see a remade, like a reboot of Aliens.
Yeah, I think that with better acting, with a tighter story, with more character-driven elements to it, I think it could be great. But much like Jurassic Park, it has the features of it don't age. It isn't bad CGI. It's beautifully done. The visuals incredible, but the story was abysmal to me. Yeah.
Okay. 2.5. Did not see this coming. No.
Unprecedented.
No. Noah.
Noah, that's me, man. All right, I'm giving it. Looking at my past Zenescope charts, I made sure to make a mental note this time and pay attention. I gave Total Recall a 4. I liked this better than Total Recall, so I'm going. But it's still not like RoboCop 5, so I'd put it at an easy 4.3.
Oh, is this like a 4.33333? Like repeating?
Yeah. It's technically, if you wanted to round up, it would be 4.34, but it definitely is 4.33333.
They're not a 4.25.
I'm going 4.3. Compared to the original Alien movie, both of them are solid, but I think I like Alien a little bit better. Alien is the horror version. Aliens is the action version. I thought that the pacing was solid. I thought the acting was solid. I thought the sci-fi elements were very, very cool. I don't know. It was phenomenal. I dug it, even though I was very sleepy while watching it. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I've never heard of a 4 1/3, so you might be the first person to do it.
Marilyn gave Total Recall a 3.3333.
So there you go.
So that's a 10 out of 10 divided by 3.
Okay. 4.333.
Three.
Who's ready? Crystal, do you want to go?
Yeah, I was gonna give it a lower score when I came on, but I feel like it really is a classic, and I think that it inspired so many other films and so many other sci-fi aspects in this genre that I think I'm gonna go with a 4. A 4.
A fair 4.
Solid. Still doesn't beat the Barbarella score match that.
No, I would watch Barbarella any day over this. Like,
if Barbarella, if Jane Fonda was Ripley, would that give it a 5?
yes.
Okay.
If she was naked in space, yes.
And rolling around in fur costumes.
And Merkin, yes. I actually had no idea. I have Merkin up on my other screen.
I think I smelled the plot of the reboot.
That's what I'm saying. Let's talk to Sun. Let's see what we can't do. I want to see Sigourney Weaver
In a
with the Catchman.
Casey, Brian, who wants to go next?
Ladies first.
Oh no.
That's you.
So
I'm worried about this review.
I am. I'm worried too because I feel like I'm gonna get canceled. I'm gonna
Listen, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to give it as many yawns as you want.
I mean,
I'm getting a 5-minute warning, so we gotta move.
Yep, it's hard because it is so iconic, and there's definitely points where I saw the media that I grew up with clearly inspired by this. Fallout 4 was clearly an inspiration with the synths. That's all I could think of. Halo. So it's, but I didn't like it, but 2.75.
I feel like you're just saying that in order to not be ostracized. What's your honest score? We don't care.
A 1, but I can't say that. So
you already did. Son.
2.75.
No, we heard 1.
Real score, you put it a 1. If you give it a 1.
I feel
Zenescope is nothing but honest. Give it the 1.
Thank you,
Brian, you're up.
Keeping us straight and narrow.
As someone who saw this originally in theaters, as someone who grew up, who was taken as a child to see the original Alien in theaters, so the nightmare for me was even more deeper when watching the sequel, where I was like, why am I even doing this to myself? Oh, right, to pay for someone's therapy. Anyway, seeing the history, knowing the history, and seeing that me and my friends to this day quote 20 different lines from this movie. A lot of them, the Bill Paxton lines. He was, I think, given the best lines out of all of them. But also just the work that was put in behind it, knowing how huge this film was in 1986. And then, yes, all the other films that kind of followed this formula. I can't help but know that Cameron went on to do even bigger and larger, and some critics would say better work from this. And I enjoyed the performances from everybody. I enjoyed the fact that they were able to take a story that came out in 78, and then bring it to this fold as a sequel. I thought it was very well planned out and thought out. And being a big fan of the Heinlein Starship Troopers, the fact that that's the model that they used for their Space Marines was just brilliant. And I was just like, yes, that's what Space Marines should be. I can't help it but give this it's not a perfect movie. In no stretch of the imagination is it a perfect movie, but it's definitely one of the most entertaining movies that we've had on the Movie Club. So this is getting a 4.75. Giving a little breath for some issues that were here and there, but otherwise 4.75.
Wow.
I like it. Not bad. Not bad.
Okay, so I'll go real quick. This is a really good movie. I didn't have any the issues I normally have when rewatching an older movie. That I've done this before with Fright Night. I did it with what else? Total Recall. I rewatched them years later, and I was kind of like, oh my god, this is not as good as remember it. I didn't have that problem with this movie. Maybe at some points, sure, but I really was into the movie. I like it was very just well done, well directed. It was ahead of its time at that time. I feel like, especially, which it says a lot about a good director. So yes, like Brian said, not a perfect film by any means, or some issues. Movies have evolved since 1986. It's just going to happen that way.
Except for Barbarella, stayed the same.
But Barbarella.
No flaws.
I might have given Terminator my only 5. I can't remember. We'd have to look. This won't get a 5. I'm going to give this a 4.5. 4.5 Mercs. We're going to go with one of the best movies we've reviewed yet so far. Pat, you're crazy. Casey, you need help. Let's show the cover.
I'm going to change mine to a 3.5, if we're being really honest. A 3.5. It just was not colorful for me, and it is slightly dull.
That's fair. Zenescope the Zenescope chart can't lie.
3.5, Casey.
Throw some pink and blues in there. What's with all the grays?
So, guys, we do have a virtual con starting in like a minute. So we do have to move.
Let's do it.
So let's show the phone cover. Let's see the phone cover. Bam. There's
Might I say,
The dragon looks sick. That's tight.
yeah, the dragon and the face huggers and the fact that she kind of got like Sigourney's hair.
What's the apple on her pants? What's the apple?
Oh, it's gonna be because she's Sky. Like that's the cosplay. Sky's got little apples. It's not kind of Snow White.
This is now should be live in a moment on the website if you want to grab it. The rated version. Sun continues to kill it. And
Breaking her back over it.
And broke her back over it. I don't have the link. I'm waiting for the link real quick, and then I'll drop it in the comments. And also, do you want to reveal next month's layouts?
Sure.
And then we'll get out of here.
Ooh.
Oh, we're watching Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Yes.
Perhaps.
Dude, I'm so excited about this. Now that's a fast-paced movie that's like full of
That's a good one.
That's a movie I saw. I think I never saw the whole thing, so I'm interested in reviewing it. Guys, girls, it's been real. Go see Kevin and Marilyn in, where are you again? Raleigh? North Carolina.
We're in Raleigh. We're at GalaxyCon in Raleigh. So please come on by. It'll be fun. And then if you want, please go get your tickets for Clerks 3 coming out in September. Clerks, the number 3.movie for watch the trailer. All the information is there. We're adding more cities to the tour every week. So keep checking back. If you don't see a city near you, keep checking back the entire time. There's probably going to be one eventually.
No, eventually.
Guys, gals, if you're with us, head to our virtual con. We're starting right now. We're actually offering San Diego exclusives that you could only get here or in San Diego. So if you weren't in San Diego, it's time to get the exclusives here. We're also doing some giveaways and some cool stuff. So we're going to end this stream, and then we're going to bounce right into a new stream. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Krystle. Thank you, Pat. We will see you next month for Pirates of the Caribbean. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.